On all of this. Joining us right now, it is podcaster Paul Crewe, a Toffee fan. Paul, how are you doing?
Hi, Paul.
Good morning, Natalie. Good morning.
Good to have you with us, Paul. How are you feeling right now with everything that's happened in the last 24 hours then?
It's to be honest, I'm not really that shocked. To me, like has been pointed out, administration is 9 points. So that's when you can't pay your staff, when you can't operate. So where's this rule come from about 10 points? Like, that to me is unprecedented. And so if that's the way they're going to do it, they've got to stick to consistency. So should City get docked 100 points? Should Chelsea get docked more than that as well? You know, you're talking about, have a look at the 6 teams, the big 6, who are wanting to ruin this league and break away and doing it secretly. I believe the Premier League come out and said, well, we can't dock them points because that's punishing the fans. But to me, it just stinks of corruption. It's like, you can't do it to City, you can't do it to Chelsea, but we'll do it to Everton.
Well, we don't know because the outcome hasn't happened with Chelsea and Man City yet. So we don't quite know how that will pan out. Look.
Tony.
Sorry. Go on.
City have been under investigation longer than Everton. Why isn't that getting sorted out? They come out yesterday, copped out saying, oh, we need more time to look at it. Nah, they don't. They're looking at the club badge.
Well, I mean, you do raise a good point about that Manchester City case because, as you say, it's been going on a very long time.
Probably a lot more complicated as well.
Well, maybe, but even so, it does seem to have been drawn out, and we're none the wiser as to what is going on.
I get that.
And you do feel, Paul, as though, unfortunately, the wealth that Manchester City have, that they're able to defend their case perhaps in such a way that they are drawing it out for so long, that Everton weren't able to do that.
Maybe so. Maybe Everton's lawyers are like Lionel Lutz after Simpsons. Who knows? But I think you'll remember, not that long ago, Manchester City were meant to be banned from Europe for 2 years. They appealed that and got a fine of about, I think it was 8 million, which is like 20p to us. So, they're not going to dock Man City points. They're not going to dock Chelsea points. It does. If you look at it from that point of view, and you go, yeah, it's 20 million over it, something to do with the stadium alone. I
mean, Paul, you can feel that you are angry. We sense that absolutely from you, and you know, as a neutral in this, it sort of feels it would be unjust if, and it all boils down to actually the cases themselves, and we don't know the full case of Man City. We don't know the full case of Chelsea yet. But if they don't end up with a points deduction just based on financial fair play and going over what they should have been spending, etc., that would seem wholly unjust. If Everton are the ones that are deducted points and yet other teams don't go down that route.
Listening here is, you know, I remember Luton fans, the way they felt because of the way they were treated, which was to an exception, the most outrageous one given to any club.
Sure.
And Everton fans, like we're hearing now, as very upset because this has set a new precedent.
Yeah.
And that's, I hope, I was reading Neville Southall's column, he'd done a little piece in the paper today, and he said, I hope that Everton move on very quickly from this, because they're and they are a great club. They always have been. You know, it's stacked in history in this country. And if they can move on and accept what's happened to them, stay up and you know, look forward to the things. The horizon for Everton is a fantastic new stadium that they're building. And a capacity for 50,000 fans, and this club can move forward.
But Paul, look, the club have said they intend to appeal. We expect that will happen. We don't know, obviously, what will happen with that outcome. It still might be 10 points, but they also might have a reduction in that points penalty. As things stand, though, you are in the relegation zone. How do you feel about your chances of staying up?
Very confident. I think this will galvanise the club. I think it will make the fan base more supportive.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we've been discussing it on our podcast. I think we should boo the Premier League music. I don't think we should do the shaking hands thing. I think we should block out the media as well. When like I'm talking about match of the day or anything like that. Why should we conform to their laws? But they're just making up rules against us, really. Yeah, I think it'll galvanise the club. I think Everton are playing really well this season. They're creating more chances than they have in previous years. I know there's a lot of improvements to be made, but I'm quite happy on the dice. And like I said, I think it'll galvanise us. If we beat Man United on next Sunday, people won't be talking about it. So I would love to shove it down the Premier League's throat, really, just by saying, yeah, go on, take 10 points off us, go on. This new rule, basically, because we're very lucky on our podcast. We've had Super Kevin Campbell on the other week. And again, he pointed out, administration is 9 points. That's when you can't operate, you can't pay people's wages. So where's this 10 points come from? It's laughable to me. Because like I said, Manchester City won't get dock points. Chelsea won't get dock points. So that's why I think the appeal process, if the Premier League want to stick to consistency, then I'd be really worried about Manchester City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're talking about 150 charges that have been going on for so long. And I get they're coming out saying, it's a lot more complicated. And it's like, yeah, they've got a lot more money as well. They've got a lot more at stake, haven't they? And, it doesn't look good to me from Evertonians' point of view.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to add to Everton. I remember going to Everton in the FA Cup and playing for Gillingham. And it was the first time I'd really gone to a great club, as a player and experience. And I know a number of players that have played for Everton. It's a terrific football club. And there's a very positive future for this football club. It's going to feel really raw like it is today as you're talking about what's happened. But this club will be fine. It's a terrific club. It will be fine.
I do agree with you as well. I think they've shown enough already this season that they're not going to be a team that are going to struggle week in, week out. They've put in some brilliant performances already. I mean, we all remember how they beat Brentford 3-0 at Brentford, and they were absolutely fantastic. Brentford were terrible, I should point that out, but they were brilliant. So just based on that one performance, I remember thinking they'll be all right this season if they can continue like that. Yeah, it does feel unfair. As Paul has pointed out, that 9-point deduction for administration, that's a whole different. I mean, that's awful management, complete mismanagement of a club.
Can I ask you a question, Next? This one, they've been given a 10-point, obviously, deduction at the moment. Yeah. If they appeal, can it get worse? Can they add more?
I wouldn't have thought.
No,
so.
I wouldn't.
No,
but sometimes with
I know what you mean.
things,
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it a
so.
possibility that actually say, no, you're not getting 10, you're getting...
I think that would only happen if the Premier League appeals it, because this is the independent commission that have come up with the 10 points. So I think if anything will change, it will be reduced, the point deduction. But
I keep thinking of Luton, that's my only thing.
I know, I completely understand.
Because their deductions went from one level to another level quite quickly, didn't they? And I know they had, I'm sure, had a number more issues than Everton did at the time, but their fans booed. The EFL.
And you can certainly understand the rawness that Everton fans feel, and they will, as we pointed out, feel that they've been the test case in this situation. Unfortunately, the facts don't lie in the sense there has been a mismanagement of their FFP, which means they have received this points deduction, but they will appeal, and that may be reduced. We don't know. We'll have more on it, though, throughout the day. Up next, we're also going to find out how the newspapers are